All right. Hey everybody, Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Laurel Blanchard here with your Saturday night forecast. We are seeing some storms continuing to fire up across the region, so let's get right to the radar. So we are right now tracking a severe thunderstorm warning. This is in northern Alachua County and has just been condensed in areas especially just north of our region, so Bradford County as well as Clay County, Florida. That's where this thunderstorm is continuing to head up as we head through the rest of the evening. So that's ultimately what we're seeing right now as we head through the radar. So what we're going to continue to see is just some widespread rain. We saw areas especially across areas of Alachua County, still seeing some thunderstorms right here, and also just seeing some very heavy rain in northern Alachua County, north of Alachua, as well as just off to the east of I-75. So we're going to continue to see that move into Bradford County as we head through the rest of the evening. So we did just see this severe thunderstorm warning move out of Alachua County. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor just as the last of these little thunderstorms continue to make their way up towards the northeast. But ultimately right now, all across Alachua County, Gainesville seeing some very heavy rain, Archer also seeing some very heavy rain. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight. Making our way down, we'll go county by county of what we're seeing out there right now. Putnam County just seeing a lot of that heavy widespread rain, seeing it thin out as it makes its way more down towards Volusia County, but Flagler County also seeing some very patchy rain as well. Over by Flagler Beach, just seeing a little bit of a thunderstorm just off coast, so we're going to be monitoring that as we head through the rest of the evening. Again, making our way more down towards Marion County, we're seeing in areas just to the west of Ocala, seeing some very, very heavy rain right here. So all of this was with this system right here, and all of that moisture that just made its way in areas across Marion and Alachua counties for the past hour or so. So this entire swath of moisture right here all through now, which is north of Stark, Gainesville, Ocala. This was all one surge of moisture that was actually just off the Tampa coast earlier on. It made its way on coast and then continued to make its way kind of following the flow of what we've seen with these storms earlier on. So what we're seeing right now is just all of this moisture continuing to move up towards the northeast. So all of these heavy showers that we're seeing right here going to continue to move towards Jacksonville as we head through the rest of our evening. So really just seeing the last of the heavy weather continuing to make its way up towards the northeast as we head through the rest of the evening. So luckily, the majority of the rain, the last of the storms, have really just pushed out from our region. So we're going to be mainly focusing in on our forecast for tomorrow. So what we're seeing right here, again, severe thunderstorm warning now out of our viewing area, still in effect until 6:45, now making its way up towards Jacksonville, but still, again, seeing some very heavy lightning, very heavy rain in northern Alachua County, so north of Alachua. We're seeing the last of this thunderstorm continuing just to make its way northward, which again, good news for us. We're just going to be seeing rain now that we've seen all that energy from earlier on this evening, the heat of the day, really roughening up the atmosphere. That is continuing to fall, so we're really just going to be rain for the rest of the evening if you're still in it right now. So Alachua, you're going to be seeing some pretty heavy downpours for the rest of the evening. Same with Williston. Back down towards Ocala, you're slowly going to start to thin out as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight. So that's good news right there. So taking a look back down towards the villages, you're pretty much done with the rain. You may see a couple of showers, seeing this little shower just to the east of Spring Hill, continuing to make our way up towards the villages through the rest of the evening. DeLand, you're also seeing some pretty heavy downpours. Again, these showers going to continue to make their way up towards Ormond Beach as we head through the rest of the evening. Also areas across Port Orange, you're seeing some pretty heavy rain out there at the moment. Looking up at our cameras right now, no really heavy rain to show you on our cameras, which is a little unfortunate, but we're still seeing excuse me, a lot of that very heavy rain that we're seeing out there right now. Ultimately, if you're in the Orlando area, maybe seeing a sprinkle for the rest of the overnight tonight. Altamont Springs, maybe a shower out there right now, just to the west of Ocoee. Still seeing a little bit of a shower, but really, we're only going to be seeing some very light showers through the rest of the overnight tonight. Areas across Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, maybe another shower or two as we head through the rest of the evening. But as we take a look back down towards Tampa, again, all of these storms making this northeasterly track right here. So we may see the last of like these little storms that are continuing to pop up down towards Tampa, make their way more into Sumter and Lake County as well as parts of Polk County as we head through the rest of the evening. So let's actually take a look back towards our Melbourne radar. We're still seeing some thunderstorms pop up around the Tampa area by Fort Meade, and these are going to continue to make this northeasterly track. So let me actually switch towards the Tampa radar to get a good view at these guys. So yeah, we're just seeing some lightning. Nothing too crazy with these storms. Again, just something to watch as we head through the rest of the evening. Glenn from Palm Coast, let's take a closer look towards there. Looks like you're just seeing some very light rain right now, maybe seeing some heavier pockets through the rest of the evening, but ultimately I think you're pretty much just going to be seeing that light, consistent rain probably for the next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe a heavier downpour in there, but most likely just going to be seeing those sprinkles through the rest of the evening. But back down towards Tampa, we still have a couple more storms to go. We're not completely out of the woods yet, but we're going to be quieting down significantly through the rest of the overnight tonight. Last of these storms going to continue to make their way towards the northeast, so a couple more of those showers rolling through as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight. So that's our current radar right now, so let's actually get to what we're going to be seeing through the rest of the evening. So we have this big low pressure system right here. We're going to see another one develop as we head into the start of the work week. But for now, this thing has really just brought some severe weather across the deep southeast, so across Alabama, parts of Georgia, still firing up some severe thunderstorm warnings. But for us, we're just going to be seeing the last of this moisture out here, continuing to sweep across the peninsula as we head through the overnight tonight. So that's ultimately what's in it for us. For the next hour or so, here's what we're looking at. The last of these showers going to continue to make their way up towards Palm Coast, and then we're going to see the last of these storms continue to push into Lake and Sumter counties, pretty much raining themselves out, maybe seeing a little bit of lightning with those, but I don't see any severe weather associated with that, at least for the next hour, from those storms down there in Tampa. Taking a look also in our Melbourne radar for the next hour, pretty much the same thing, going to be seeing these storms that are right down there by Tampa, continuing to make their way into Lake and Sumter counties, again possibly bringing in a couple of rumbles of thunder, maybe a little bit of lightning associated with that as well, and going to continue to make its way up towards the villages. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we're going to be seeing just pretty much rain with a couple strikes of lightning and maybe rumbles of thunder as we head through the rest of the evening. But we're pretty much done with all of the severe stuff pretty much for the rest of the overnight tonight. Pam, you said Titusville. Let's take a look at that real quick. Titusville probably going to be seeing a couple rounds of showers through the overnight tonight, but again, I think the severe stuff is pretty much done. Now that we're starting to calm down for the heat of the day, that's really ultimately what picks up these storms and kind of allows that sea breeze to form off the very, very cold ocean, moving on to very warm land. Air likes to move from cold to warm, so that's why we see that sea breeze. And once those sea breezes collide, they allow those thunderstorms to pick up very quickly. That's all just due to that daytime heating. But once it goes to the overnight tonight, things really just start to calm down, and that's why we see those storms pick up and then calm down and pretty much dissipate through the overnight. But Pam, you asked about Titusville. Titusville right here, not seeing anything at the moment, but as we probably head through the next hour, 2 hours, you may see a couple more of those showers just make their way northward as we see the last of those storms start to quiet down through the overnight tonight. Now tomorrow, of course, very special day, Mother's Day, of course, so if you forgot, there's your reminder right there. So here's what we're looking at. Unfortunately, we are going to be under another impact day. So here's what we're looking at. Once again, active weather continuing here across Central Florida. I know it's only the middle of May, but really we've gotten into a pattern that's quite literally in the middle of August. Very summertime-like pattern of that active weather, those afternoon thunderstorms, same song, different day. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing through the day tomorrow as well. Pretty much copy and paste the forecast of what we had today. That's what your Mother's Day is going to be like. So taking a look, again, an impact day for tomorrow, seeing those PM storms pretty much exactly like we saw today, seeing those storms slowly start to fizzle out as we head through the evening. But we're also going to be seeing almost two systems at play as we head through the day tomorrow. So going to be seeing the possibility of some severe thunderstorm warnings, possibilities of some hail, In some cases, large hail with some of those storms. We did get up to quarter-sized hail today. So take that coin quarter, and that's what we're going to be seeing. That's what we did get some reports of today. So a couple of damaging wind gusts. We saw wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour today. And of course, we did also see that very vivid lightning in areas across Gainesville and Alachua earlier on. So that's what we're going to continue to see tomorrow as well. But if you do have any Mother's Day plans, it's not a total washout. Again, very similar to what we saw today. For the morning side, it's going to be looking pretty good. So if you do have any morning plans, things are good to go for Mother's Day tomorrow. Happy early Mother's Day to all the mother figures, mothers out there. It's going to be good for breakfast in bed and midday shopping tomorrow. But by the time we head to the afternoon, yeah, things are going to get a little bit dicey once again. Oh, that doesn't look like it's totally right. Hold on. Switching gears real quick. There we go. That's much more accurate. Taking a look there. So we have breakfast in bed and a midday shopping tomorrow. Things look good for tomorrow. And then as we take tomorrow morning and then as we head through the afternoon, probably at around 3, 4 o'clock is where we're going to be seeing those storms really start to fire up, especially across the central part of the peninsula, as well as slowly start to calm down as we head through the evening. So here's what your Mother's Day is looking like for tomorrow. And then as we take a look at those storm threats, once again, here's what we're going to be seeing. Very similar to what we saw today. Wind is going to be the major threat. Again, we saw winds today, reports of 60 miles per hour. Possibility of some large hail thrown in there as well, including some flash flooding. So we are going to be seeing not only the rain today, we saw the rain yesterday, we saw the rain on Thursday as well. So as we head through the next couple of days, some areas may be looking at a grand total. So over the past 4 or 5 days, 8 inches of rain in some areas, and we'll show you that in 1 second. So overall, we are going to continue to see those storms fire up as we head through tomorrow as well. So here's what we're looking at forecast-wise, and then we'll show you those rain totals of what we're expecting. We're going to be seeing those storms continuing to fizzle out as we head through the overnight tonight. Probably still seeing some showers out there as we head into about midnight, but overall not looking at anything severe or anything that'll really pack a punch through the rest of the evening. I think the worst of it is done. Taking a look at tomorrow though, 8:30, 9 o'clock, maybe a scattered shower, but overall I don't think we're looking at anything too crazy until we head into the afternoon. So I want to back up just a little bit to give you a big picture. What we're going to be seeing Sunday into Monday is a low pressure system at work. So we have a low pressure system over the southeast. This is what's just going to be driving all of this moisture, kind of feeding off the Gulf into central Florida as we head through the next couple of days. So this is going to be responsible for all of the rain that we're seeing tomorrow, and especially all of the rain and maybe even a little bit more of that severe weather chance that we're going to be seeing on Monday. So what we're going to be taking a look at right here is that this low pressure system is just going to be pushing in all of this rain, and with this low pressure system firing up not only all of this moisture and pushing it into central Florida as we head into Sunday evening, Sunday night, it's also going to spark up that sea breeze storms that spark up our average everyday summertime thunderstorms. That's what's also going to be firing up out ahead of this front as well. So with that, we're going to be seeing one round of moisture probably at about 4 or 5 p.m. And then we're also going to be seeing maybe another round of showers spark up a little bit later on. So we can see that right here. First round going to be moving through as we head through your Sunday evening. And then we're also going to be seeing a rebound round of moisture kind of roll through as we head through that morning commute. And so what we can see right here is those thunderstorms starting to fizzle out as we head through your Sunday evening, and then they're going to continue as we head through your very late Sunday night and into your early Monday morning. So if you really hit the roads early, 3, 4, 5 a.m., we're going to start to see those storms fire up once again. But again, this low pressure system quite literally moves over central Florida. So this is just going to continue to really increase our rain chances all throughout the day. So if you do have any outdoor plans on Monday, hit the roads on Monday, vacationing here on Monday, it is just pretty much, unfortunately, going to be a washout to start off the week. So moving back just a little bit more, we see those storms start to fire up, especially along the west coast early Monday morning, continuing to really fire up once it collides with the sea breezes as we head through your Monday afternoon. We're going to get a couple of breaks, especially if you're in downtown Orlando, but ultimately we are going to see rounds and rounds of rain as we take a look at your Monday. Also, just because of this line of storms that just continue to roll up and through our region, we could see the possibility of a very brief tornado on Monday. We're seeing that chance slowly start to amp up, but ultimately, right now what it looks like is just a more widespread storm chance of what we normally see pretty much take today and tomorrow and make those storms much more widespread across the region. That's what it's looking like right now, but because we do have that little bit of that spin because of the low pressure system quite literally above us here in Florida, it just adds that chance of that very brief spin up as we head through the day. So that's what we're going to be seeing on Monday, continuing through your Monday afternoon and into your Tuesday morning, slowly starting to see the last of those storms push out of the region. And that's what's going to set the stage for high pressure to really take over and set us up for a beautiful end of the work week. So that's the good news right there. Pretty much Tuesday on, and even into looking ahead to next weekend, if you do have any plans. I know it's graduation season. Lots of folks are going to be graduating and attending graduation parties. Things are looking good for us here in Florida pretty much all through next weekend as high pressure continues to take hold. So that's the good news right there. Even though it is going to be not so nice for your Mother's Day weekend, and especially into the start of the work week. I know Mondays are definitely tougher when it's raining. It's definitely going to pay off because all next weekend and the weekend after, things are looking pretty good right now. So rainfall, we did see some storms today. Some areas definitely picked up a good amount of rain, but by the time we actually hit Monday, when their big widespread rain chances really start to kick in, some of us could be looking at over 6-7 inches of rain. So as we do take a look right here, this is our analysis tools. So this is just a model, definitely not set in stone of what we can see right here. But overall, what we can predict pretty much for sure is that we're going to be seeing a lot of rain, and especially the areas that are just getting hit with round after round, especially the areas that got hit Thursday, Friday, and today. It's really going to jack up the totals for sure. So possibly that might be a little bit over exaggerated, but areas just north of here in Jacksonville may be looking at just under a foot of rain, but it tracks for sure. We've been so dry, and now once we actually start to get into the rainy season, we really start to pick up those rain totals that we didn't have for the first 3-4 months of the year. So definitely not out of the question right there, but some areas, and again, this all just depends on if you do get hit with some of those heavier rounds of rain, or just get stuck in one of those pockets. 8 inches of rain, definitely not out of the question in some areas as we head through the latter part of tomorrow. Some areas, especially across Orange County, may be looking at up to 3-4 inches of rain. And again, if you just get caught in some of those pockets of rain, you may be looking at up to 6+ inches of rain as we head through the latter half of Monday. So fingers crossed, make sure you're just watching the radar and staying tuned to our Fox Local app, to our weather app, as we head through the next couple of days, because you staying informed is definitely going to be the most helpful thing. Popping up your 7 days, we wrap this up. We are going to be seeing for Mother's Day tomorrow, 70% chance of rain. Probably a little bit more widespread is what we're going to be seeing, as opposed to what we saw this evening. And then as we do take a look, Monday, pretty much a widespread washout of what we can see on Monday. Taking a look though, Tuesday, rain chances really go down. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even taking a look at next Sunday, we are golden. We are looking good. Temperatures are heating up, and it's going to be another little stretch of some summertime weather as we take a look at your Friday and Saturday. So that's good news right there. Things looking good heading into next weekend. Let's take a look at some questions before we wrap this up. Theodore Johnson, does the thunderstorms have an effect on hurricane season 2025? Great question. Severe weather, not really. I think this is just us getting a little bit of a taste of the early wet season. So seeing those average normal daily pickup thunderstorms at 3 p.m. but done by about 9 p.m. So starting to fall into that cycle of seeing the wet season really start to take place here in Central Florida. Great question, though. There has been some studies of starting to see the potential of that, but I don't think it's really been enough research in order to really take anything away. But that's still a great question. Let's just take one last look at the radar, moving back over to our YouTube page, because we're also streaming on there as well. One last look at the radar before we really start to wrap up here. Denellen, Florida. William writing in from there. Denellen, let's right here. You're seeing a little bit of a shower right now, probably going to be seeing a little bit more of a heavier downpour starting to make its way up from the north, but you might be pretty much done for the rest of the overnight tonight. But again, still keeping an eye on the little bit of a thunderstorm as we head through the rest of the evening. Walburn's getting some very heavy rain. Thank you so much, Numa, for watching. Why is Monday intense weather? Jerry Close, thank you so much for watching on that. So great question. We're going to be seeing, actually, if I back up a little bit, let's take a look at our national radar. And I'll also put the 2 box up here. So back to William, Denellen, Florida. Still seeing a little bit of a shower just to the south of you, but that's pretty much going to be done. Maybe seeing a little bit more of those showers from the system just offshore, but I think pretty much the heavy rain, with the exception of this little itty-bitty shower just to the south of you, pretty much done. Also taking a look, Jerry Close. So why is this so intense on Monday? So going back to the national radar, and I'll actually switch back to this graphic because I kind of already have it made. What am I looking for? Right here. So this is one of our models that we use, and this is a little bit working on this graphic right now. So we see this low pressure system right here. This is what's been really firing up all of the severe weather, especially across the southeast. We've been seeing a little bit of a tornado outbreak right here. Nothing crazy, but definitely a severe weather outbreak for sure. This low pressure system, watch it right here. This is where we're watching this inner circle. This is what's going to be pushing over Florida as we head through Monday, but as it kind of just sits and spins just over Louisiana, it's going to fire up all of this moisture in the Gulf, and this is what's just going to be pushing into Florida as we head through Monday. So we have Sunday evening, that first wave of moisture, but then we kind of have the second wave of moisture that really pushes through on Monday, and as that continues to push through, we see all of this energy from all of the storms starting to see this low pressure system make its way further inland. It just pushes all of this moisture continuing to push its way into the peninsula. So that's why it's going to not only amp up our rain chances, but also amp up a little bit of the storm energy as well. And as you can see right here, so all of these little white lines, here's a meteorology lesson for you. If you think of a garden hose and you put your thumb over the end of the garden hose, the water comes out faster. Same thing that actually monitors right here. So we see all of these little white lines. The white lines, honestly, is your finger over the end of the garden hose. The more white lines that you see, it's really the higher the pressure gradient. So what we see right there, when we see all of these lines very close together, that is the winds increasing, and also a little bit of the storm energy increasing as well. So what we see right here is those gusty winds, as well as a lot of rain, rain chances moving across the peninsula of Florida. That's ultimately why we're going to be seeing such crazy and impactful weather as we take a look at Monday. So I hopefully that answers your question right there. And I see a couple questions asking about the 2025 hurricane season. So something that's happening a little bit behind the scenes, and I'll pop myself up real quick as we take one last look at the radar. Right here. Yeah, we're just kind of seeing the last of those showers slowly starting to move out of Marion County, but I'll pop myself up real quick. Something that's been happening behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of folks know about is that we are working on our 2025 hurricane special that airs on Memorial Day Monday, which is really exciting. And we'll actually be answering all of these questions. So not that I don't want to leave everyone on a cliffhanger and actually leave that up to interpretation or anything, not that I'm dodging the question, but we are going to be talking about hurricane season 2025. The Colorado State University already issued their forecast, looking at an above average forecast for hurricane season 2025. However, with that, not as busy as what we were seeing in 2024. If I still have the graphics, we can touch on this very, very quickly. But overall, I do. Answering questions on the spot. So, give me one moment. Okay, that's the verified forecast. I don't know if I have this year's forecast, but I can find it very quickly. So this was last year's forecast. Let me pop up these dates real quick while I kind of just talk about that and try to buy myself a little bit of time to find this graphic. Colorado State University ultimately put in that we're looking at a slightly above average season, but not as busy as what we were seeing in 2024. So actually this past week was Florida Hurricane Preparedness Week. NOAA hurricane season, that is actually, I have the date for that of when that comes out. That is right here. So NOAA hurricane season forecast is coming out on May 15th. Fox 35 hurricane special airs on Memorial Day, and then hurricane season begins on June 1st. So not to completely dodge all the questions of what we're seeing right here of Theodore asking if it's going to be an active hurricane season on YouTube. Glenn asking if we're going to have an active hurricane season on Facebook. Not to completely dodge the question, but I think we are going to be seeing a little bit of a busy season. However, I don't think we're going to be seeing as busy of a season that we saw in 2024. And of course, we're going to be answering all of the questions, and actually, again, a little bit of behind the scenes update for you guys is after our Fox 35 hurricane special on Memorial Day on the 26th, we're actually going to be doing a live talk back. Me, myself, Noah, as well as I believe TJ, after this airs Monday evening, we're going to be doing a live talk back. So any questions that you guys have on Facebook, on YouTube as well, we will be answering those questions live after the show. So we will be going through all of the forecasts that have been released by NOAA, by Colorado State University, but also going to be really breaking down what our belief for the forecast of headed into 2025 is. And we've been really talking about and getting together some pretty cool stuff. So I'm very excited. So make sure you tune in on Memorial Day. We'll get that time for you. But May 26th, we'll be posting about it definitely the week before. So that's some really fun stuff. And again, not to totally dodge your questions, but we're going to be seeing some pretty exciting stuff coming in headed into hurricane season 2025, starting with our hurricane special. And again, if anyone has any questions after the fact, we'll be doing a live talk back after it airs on the 26th, which is really exciting. But again, Colorado State University, they came out with their forecast on April 3rd, so just over a month ago, and they are expecting an above average season and also an above average chance that we could see a major hurricane make landfall. So to kind of answer the questions for those who are asking about hurricane season 2025, but we will be really getting into the weeds on that on the 26th. So make sure you do stay tuned for that. All right, let's take one last quick check at the radar before we wrap up. Looks like the worst of the worst is in Jacksonville. So let's actually take a look at our Jacksonville radar before we completely sign off. Looks like there's another severe thunderstorm warning, but again, that's in the Jacksonville area, not really affecting us. But it looks like where we were seeing that severe thunderstorm warning in areas across Alachua County, looks like just some very heavy rain. Last of that very heavy rain moving out of Ocala. And now backing up just a little bit more, switching back to our Melbourne radar. Looks like we just have some little pockets of rain here and there, but we are still watching a couple of those thunderstorms that I think are really going to start to weaken before they make their way back into our region as we head through the rest of the evening. So again, one last look. Areas across Gainesville and Ocala seeing the last of that heavy round of rain slowly start to move out of the region, but still watching these little pockets of storms that I think are slowly going to start to break up before they move through the region as we head through the rest of the evening. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We're going to wrap it up here, but again, thank you so much for taking time on your Saturday nights to really just hang out and answer all the questions. So I appreciate that once again. And have a wonderful rest of your evening. Again, happy early Mother's Day to all mothers out there, mother figures. And if we do have any other updates for the rest of the evening, we'll be right here on Facebook. And same again tomorrow. Both myself and TJ are going to be on Facebook and on YouTube if anyone needs anything. And again, have a great night. And again, happy Mother's Day to all moms and mother figures out there. Thanks again, everybody.